Okay, hold on.
Recording in progress.
Okay, you're live.
Okay. I'll call to order the regular scheduled meeting of the City of Harlingen Planning and Zoning Commission for August 11th. It is 5:30. Will you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
liberty and justice for all.
I was kind of going solo there for a minute.
You did.
Apologize for any background noise during this meeting. Well, welcome everybody. First item is citizen communication. Albert, do we have anybody signed up for citizen communication?
No, not today. We don't have anybody signing up for citizen communication.
Okay, thank you. Item number 1 is approval of minutes from the regular meeting from July 28th. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes, or is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
A second.
Got a second by Commissioner Garcia. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Consent agenda. Is there a wish to remove one of the items A or B from the consent agenda?
Commissioner Consiglio, I'd like to remove both A and B from the consent agenda items.
Okay. All right, we'll take A first. Consider to take action to approve the preliminary and final plat with condition of the proposed Springfield Estates number 6 subdivision bearing a legal description of 10.59 acres of land comprised of 0.28 acres of land block 70 and 10.31 acres out of block 63. David and Stephenson subdivision located on the east side of New Combs Highway, south of North Loop 499. Commissioner Garcia, do you have any questions for the staff, please?
Yeah, I have a couple of comments and questions. So let's see, let me read my notes here. I feel like there's some conditions here that that staff was recommending, such as an agreement and some updated drainage reports. Is that correct, staff?
Yes, on the preliminary plats for item number 2, they need to update the drainage reports.
What about for item number, isn't that item number 1 as well?
Item number 1 would be to comply with Harlingen Waterworks.
To comply with Harlingen Waterworks?
Mm-hmm.
The 8-inch pipe, we're reducing it, right? From a 15 or?
Yeah, it says the sanitary sewer on Vincent Avenue west of the Vincent and North Haven Lane intersection is currently proposed as a 15-inch diameter gravity main. The line will only service lots 10 and 11 in the near term, and due to the surrounding grades, there is not much opportunity for expansion. As such, this section of line can be downsized to 8-inch diameter line. Basically, Harlingen Waterworks is giving them extra information to reduce their requirements. They're only required 8 inches, but they're proposing 15.
And then if you keep reading further, isn't there something about a drainage?
Regarding the proposed water line tie-in to the existing 12-inch water line located on New Combs Road, the preferred method of connection by the water department is tapping sleeve and valve. Please specify this in construction plan submittal. I guess your concern was the drainage report, right? So that would be item number 2. Please submit a complete updated drainage report to the proposed subdivision with the final construction plans. Drainage report requirements are listed in the subdivision development guide starting on page 2534. Storm lines shall be designated at 3 feet per second minimum cleansing velocity.
That was my question right there. I thought you were talking about item B in consent. I'm sorry. So yes, so as part 2 of that, so there's several conditions that we're still waiting on. I'm a little confused how this made it to consent in the first place. Have we gotten that updated drainage report and updated plan?
That would be part of the condition. Typically, when we take these subdivisions, at least beyond the 2020 change, you can either approve a subdivision conditions, or disapprove a subdivision with conditions. Engineering department has recommended approval with the condition that they update the drainage report. They have submitted a drainage report.
So who from the engineering department approved this? Was it Andy?
Yes, it should be. I know there's page numbers here. Page 11.
Yeah. Yes, Andy was CC'd on there, but did Andy approve this without seeing the drainage calculations, the drainage infrastructure?
No, he reviewed the drainage report, and whoever wrote the letter gets the approval from Andy. The rest of the document itself, that's just something that Mr. Julian Cortez prepares. Basically,
I just want the other commissioners to understand. To me, it feels like we're being asked to approve something without providing us the full picture on the condition that they'll provide it later. It just doesn't make sense to me that we're being asked to approve this on consent above all things.
It's difficult. I mean, the Texas Local Government Code in 2020 changed the way that
Albert, when I submit plans, I'm required to submit drainage reports. That you know, in the last one, the Sepulvedas were required to submit drainage report. I mean, and now this is a major subdivision, and you're allowing, submit the drainage report later on down the road. This is where we need to be reviewing the drainage reports.
Can I interject for just, it's not the planning and zoning board's duty to review the engineering report. It's the city engineer's duty to review it. And he specifically said that what was submitted was not acceptable. So I think that Andy and his staff are doing exactly what their job is.
I agree with you.
Hold on.
So it's not acceptable.
Let me finish what I'm saying, JD, please. What Albert was saying is, with that new Texas Administrative Code, we have a duty to have a timely review of this. And if it's not something that's substantial, if it's something that can be reviewed, amended, without having to delay another 2 weeks, I think that it is in the city's best interest to be pro-development and still hold to our city ordinances. I don't see the issue here.
So the issue here, Commissioner Wolf, is that this is substantial. You use the word substantial. It's extremely substantial, especially the location that it's at in a known flood area right next to secluded acres and Spanish acres that are known flood prone areas. And we're going to approve this without a drainage report, or at least to review that checklist on here.
Just to clarify, the drainage report has been submitted. What the engineering department is asking is to update it. The storm line designated as 3 foot per second.
Correct. So they're asking for an update on that.
So
that's pretty substantial if engineering is saying to update it, is my point.
But if they never update it, then the subdivision will never be approved because that's a condition.
In the end, the drainage report has to be approved. The subdivision will not get recorded until the drainage report is approved by engineering. So in the end, it still has to be approved by the engineering department. Otherwise, it doesn't get recorded, no lapse gets sold.
All right, I have another comment on that one. So, Albert, you said you were going to kind of explain who was responsible for and accountable for drainage, and you state on the summary here that it's the engineer of record, but this kind of contradicts the plat where the developer is assuming responsibility. So I'm a little confused on there because it's conflicting information there on responsibility and accountability on.
Sure. The statement is from the engineering department. I think it essentially means that whatever is in the right of way, the city will take care of. Whatever is like within the easement, the city will take care of. So what the owner I guess is signing off on is basically the opposite of that private property itself. The I guess the engineer of the applicants calculated for the private property for the water to drain somewhere. So they're signing off saying the drainage for the private side of it should work. And I think that's a statement that that bullet point comes from. And unfortunately, I don't think we have the engineering department here with us.
I mean, go ahead, Commissioner.
Is there any other questions for staff to help advance the conversation? Do we, or is there a motion and then we can have a further discussion?
I think there's more information that we need to have up front before we approve this.
Again, to evaluate the engineering design, is that the information that you need?
No, because it should be part of the packet. It should be part of the packet for a major subdivision like this, not to evaluate it. I would like to, because I do that type of work, I would like to see, that type of documentation, but not to evaluate it, but to make sure that check mark is there. I mean, guys, am I the only one that's seen that our city is flooding with every development that we develop? I mean, this is substantial. This is a big deal.
Right, but you've already heard from Mr. Cervantes, this is not getting recorded without all of the engineering department's requirements being checked off on. I mean, we've had many divisions come through with these exact same conditions. This is not out of the ordinary. We're trying to be proactive.
Right, David.
Let's
That's right, and I understand that a lot of subdivisions have been approved in the past, and look where we're at. And that's what I'm trying to kind of change course a little bit. I'm trying to explain to commissioners, we can't call each other and discuss these items, behind closed doors, right? Because everything's open meeting. So I'm trying to explain my point of view to persuade you all that we probably need to start taking some different courses of action and not continue doing things the same way. That is my point.
Mr. Cervantes, please.
If you remember, the subdivision ordinance was amended in October of last year, and the drainage requirements were upgraded. So this subdivision is going by that ordinance.
That is, if you want to talk about the
so all we can do is go by the ordinance that we have in the books. So as long as they comply with the ordinance requirements, the subdivision gets approved. So we go back to what the city commission adopted.
So the subdivision is, Javier, so the subdivision, it's our job to approve the subdivision. But we're getting a note from engineering that says we recommend approval of the subdivision upon approval of the drainage report. And that's what I'm saying is we're just basically kicking it down kicking that can down the road. Engineering's going to look at it later. They're going to say yes, but we had no say in any of it.
Well, let me I think there's a condition here, right? There's conditions that must be met. A lot of the actions that we've taken over the years, even with an SUP, the SUP is contingent upon conditions being met.
Mm-hmm.
And all they have to do is comply with the ordinance that we have in the books. That's all they have to do, which is
right.
But let's get a motion if there's one on this item to see where we're at.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I have a second. We can open the discussion.
Okay, so now we have a motion and second to approve. Commissioner Garcia, is there further comments or questions for staff?
Yeah, so again, we have this comment here from staff that says that the engineer of record is going to be responsible for the design. But my question also is, who's going to be responsible for the maintenance of the private property of it? It's not private. I mean, it's going to be public streets, public drainage. These houses ultimately are the ones that are going to be flooded. So when they flood, who's going to be responsible for maintaining or updating drainage? And that's going to be the city of Harlingen. That's going to be us. And so the answer is the city of Harlingen should be responsible in conjunction with the drainage district. However, if you all read the plat, and if you can go to that plat, Albert, there's a section there that says the opposite, that now the developer is going to be responsible for the drainage. Now you're putting it in a layman's person's jurisdiction who doesn't have any knowledge of designing drainage, but it's going to be their responsibility to redesign it and fix it if there's something wrong with it. Do you see where I'm kind of a little confused on this?
JV, wouldn't they have to follow guidelines of Harlingen in that case?
Well, I think you should direct your questions to staff.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Can I get hold on, Commissioner.
Okay.
Can I get my question answered first, and then you can kind of supplement that?
Definitely.
Albert, can you address Commissioner Garcia's question, please?
Just to clarify the question, can you say it one more time? We don't have engineering department with us, but the idea is basically in the title blocks of the owners, they're saying that they're responsible for such and such. And then
Right. Look at
the engineer is saying that basically whatever is in the right of way or easements is dedicated to the public. The city will be responsible for the public, and that's essentially what it is. That's what's required within the ordinance. To change title blocks, I guess would require change, obviously the ordinance or something.
So I can give some examples of some areas that were flooded that engineering is currently working on to update brand new subdivisions that flooded, and who is held responsible, and who is redesigning them, and who is upgrading them and maintaining them. The city of Harlingen is. So if we say the engineer of record is going to be held accountable, how are we going to hold an engineer account to fixing a flooded subdivision? And then contradicting all of this is a statement on this plat that says the developer is going to be responsible for the drainage. I mean, unless I'm not reading this right, there's a statement on there that says the developer am responsible for drainage, and I hold no one else liable for it.
Isn't that the way it's always been? The developers have been responsible for the drainage. Obviously, they need an engineer to approve everything for them, but aren't they the ones that are ultimately responsible for the creation and maintenance of drainage ditches and so forth?
They're responsible for the creation of it, yes. And then they should hand it over to the city.
This is something that we can and the attorney and the city engineer, and then get back to you.
I have a question for staff. Don't they have to follow the city guidelines though, the builder?
Yes.
So in that case, I'm sorry?
Yes, that's correct. These title blocks are essentially within the ordinance, so they're following the ordinance. But the question Mr. Garcia has is that maybe the ordinance is incorrect in these title blocks, that they're contradicting each other.
My understanding on whether it's or the engineer of record, the developer is responsible for the initial design or for the initial improvements, right? However, as Commissioner Garcia said, the developer has no capabilities of making that design. So they are responsible for hiring a professional engineer to design. But the developer is responsible for the improvements themselves. So you've got the design, that's the engineer's responsibility, the improvements that are the developer's responsibility, and the city does take over all of those improvements that fall within the right of way. Right? But that's always been my understanding. And any improvements needed 10, 15, 20 years down the road, it's the city's to absorb. There's no way that a developer is going to have that crystal ball of being able to foresee what's going to be developed around them and what other runoff may happen or whatever the case may be in the future. After they sell those properties, their hands are washed, their hands are clean.
And that's right. And that's right. And with that, and on that note, Commissioner Wolf, so is the engineer of records hands. Once they meet all of the requirements that I would like to see that they've met before we approve this, okay? I would like to see that they've met those requirements before, because then they're gonna also wash their hands. And then it's gonna be on us, the taxpayers, City of Harlingen, us, Planning and Zoning, City Commission, that we're gonna send this to. It's gonna be on all of us to fix that after everybody washes their hands.
I guess my only 2 cents on that is it is not our job. I understand that you're a professional engineer. You can read through those engineering reports and determine whether it's a good design or a poor design. I get that. But everyone else on this board is not a professional engineer. It is not our responsibility to evaluate those engineering reports. If city staff, if the city engineer says, everything is good, update your engineering report, get it to me. That way, when I review it and everything checks off, we don't have to wait another 2 weeks to get it back on the agenda. It's already at 99%, otherwise it wouldn't be on the consent agenda. And when it does cross that finish line, let's get it recorded. Let's get it moving on down the line. Otherwise, staff wouldn't be making recommendation for it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Let's,
yes,
I
Commissioner
think,
Wolf. But there's also, you know,
yeah.
that there's. Yes.
I think we've had, I think you made your points. I think there's been enough time spent on those points. Is anybody have any other questions for staff at this time?
My point, real quick, I would like to make one more point.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
I would like to point out that Andy Vixtall, the professional engineer, city engineer, has already rejected this once. And he's asking for it to be updated again. So let him approve it, and then we can pass this. I don't see why that is such a, you know, it's not on us. I mean, they could have gotten this right during the phase. I saw an email also where they're trying to hurry, expedite. So city staff is also feeling pressure as well, you know? So let them do their due diligence. It's in all of our best interest to let city staff do their due diligence, approve all of the requirements. And I don't think that drainage should be ever a condition, because that's a substantial requirement. I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless I'm the only one seeing all the issues with the floods, guys. I mean,
This will take,
At the end, the city engineer signs the plat. He will not sign the plat if they don't comply with all the conditions.
Can I,
Required by the ordinance.
let me ask a question, and maybe the question will help clarify things. It's my understanding that we're approving this to move forward, but it will not move forward without the engineer's blessing on that
Yeah,
drainage.
At the very end, the city engineer signs the plat. Before
So we're saying the engineer,
he will not sign it until unless they comply.
point of,
Hold on, Commissioner. Hold on.
so we're saying to the city and to the engineer, okay, we're gonna let you move forward with this as long as you get an approvable drainage thing with it. So we don't have to wait another 2 weeks or a month and then take a look at it and go through all that without, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I think that was the idea when they changed the text of the public code to force cities to approve the subdivisions within a timely manner.
So
It's kind of like me giving my son keys to a car, well, giving him a car and say, I'm gonna hold the keys to the car. You can't have it till you get it inspected, until you get your license. It's your car today. I've signed it over to you, but I'm holding on to the keys and you can't drive it till I'm satisfied that you're ready to drive it. And
That's a
then
great
he's ready to drive it, he's had it inspected, he's done all things, then I can give him the keys.
Mhm.
And he doesn't have to wait. He doesn't have to hold on to those keys himself. He doesn't have to wait. He can just go ahead and drive the car because he's met all the conditions I told him he had to do. Is that a good analogy?
Yes, it is.
I have a question for staff.
he
Albert,
can buy the car. He can also buy the car later. But go ahead.
Thank you. Albert, on the consent agenda, how many times do we have items where there's still maybe some conditions that need to be met before we approve? So is this kind of 50-50, or how often do these type of, where engineering still asking for more information before?
The most recent ones after that change have, in the majority, been approved with conditions. We still have some leftover subdivisions that are strictly final plats only. So all we got to do is just sign the milers because the construction has already finished. But moving forward, and even within the past year, they've been approved with conditions. Again, it's just to expedite basically these subdivisions. That's the direction the state took, so that's the direction we have to take.
Okay. Commissioner Garcia, I clearly understand, and it'd be nice to have these things presented clean, if you will, with all approvals. That's what we do for SUPs and other items that come before this board. Is the city, Albert, is your position that the city's a little handcuffed because of the law in a timely fashion? Is there a 2 weeks to me is a not a long time, but it can be a long time depending on what's going on in your life at that moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it really isn't that much time to work on these subdivisions. So we do have to approve them with conditions. It's impossible to solely approve only. We have to tack on these conditions. Otherwise, we have to disapprove subdivisions periodically, like more often than not. So we would have to say no to them.
Okay, because the law is saying that because the applicant submitted on this date, we need to go through the regular motions of approval, notices out to neighbors, et cetera, et cetera.
But those are public hearings. But basically, the law says we get 30 days to approve or disapprove the subdivision with conditions and whatnot.
Okay.
We can say no.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's with fourth submittals. Once you get the second and third and fourth submittals or resubmittals, you only have 15 days for the state to get the comments again. So really, we need
right. So that's my point, is that if there's all this back and forth, and then we're trying to expedite it. It's like, hey, we're following the deadline. We have a certain amount of time to reply.
Is there a compromise? Is there a compromise here? We have a motion to approve. We have a second to approve. Is there some type of compromise? Because it sounds like, Commissioner Garcia, that this issue probably won't go away based upon the interpretation of, hold on one second, interpretation of maybe city staff until maybe we can get some clarity from legal and from engineering. But in the meantime, we have this item up for consideration. Is there some type of motion we can make that might be somewhat of a compromise on this so we can move forward? And then if B also has the same issues, if those things can also be addressed with B.
My motion did include following staff recommendations. I mean, I see that as being the common ground, the middle ground. We're not just approving it, we're approving it once the engineering report has been reviewed and approved by the city engineer.
Can I give one more example? This might be a little more relevant.
Okay.
When we applied for our bar license and permit with the city of Harlingen, it was conditioned upon TABC's approval of our application. That had not been returned to us yet. And nobody knew whether they wanted to approve it or not approve it. But the point was, even if the city approved it and TABC said no, then we couldn't open. But the city approved it, pending that review by TABC, and if TABC says it's good, then the city was good with it. Is that kind of the position we're in with this thing? Only with the engineer department acting as TABC?
Yes, that's correct. These conditions have not been met today, but eventually they will be met.
Because if TABC had said no, we wouldn't do it.
would not sign the plan.
Mr. Cervantes, can you repeat that, please? Maybe closer to the mic.
Yes. At the end of the process, the construction plans have to be approved after this, right? And so there's a full set of engineering plans that has to be approved before the city gives the developer and the engineer a green light to build the subdivision. Once the subdivision is built, everything is built correctly to city standards, then we allow the subdivision to get recorded, but the city engineer has to sign the plat. So if he sees anything that was not built according to plans, he will not sign the plat and the subdivision will not get recorded. And he's also very strict.
Can I have a question? this is the way we've always done it, correct? This question is for staff. We've always done it this way. Ground has not been broken on this. So in that case, everything will be followed and nothing will go through without y'all's blessing, correct? At the end of the day?
Yes, that's correct.
In the end of the day, they have to comply with all the city requirements.
Right, correct.
On the
So,
process.
Chairman, may I ask, may I have a conversation? May I have conversation as far as JV, this is for JV. Are you wanting to see this? I guess you want to see this beforehand, correct? Is that where you're going with this?
Yeah, I would like
You want to see that report?
I would like all requirements to be met. Otherwise, just put everything on consenda and let's just have 15-minute meetings, guys, approving everything. I also have a question real quick to what Javier said.
But I'm not.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not finished. I'm just asking. You want that report, and you want that report included in these items, correct? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes.
Okay, and that's never
Because so far, Caesar, all we have is a failed report on record.
Not a failed report. This is the way that we have done it previously.
It was a rejected report.
To clarify, the report is approved with conditions. There's an option for Andy to put disapproved, and he did not choose that option.
Nice way of saying that. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying that.
I think everyone has stated a position and understands everything. It almost comes down to timing a little bit, and it would be nice to have these all clean. I'm going to use that word, where there's no rejections, no conditions still need to be met. But it's something that we've operated within, and with the city, with the new laws and the city ordinances regarding the flooding.
Right.
There's a lot of background noise somewhere. Maybe that's you, Commissioner Bettis.
No, it's not me.
Okay. Okay. Well, with that said, I don't know if there's any other compromise. I think Mr. Wolf's, Commissioner Wolf's motion again was with conditions, which is standard and typical, I would say. Maybe moving forward, I think Commissioner Garcia brings up excellent points in all these things. Is there a way to make these things clean, become fully approved? I think that's a worthy note, a worthy position to strive for in all these items. And whether it falls in consent agenda or maybe it goes into an actual item, maybe that's something that can be looked at through legal and through engineering and through this whole process. But I don't know that we're going to solve that today, Commissioner Garcia. And
I understand.
And so we have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign.
Aye.
Okay. Please note, Commissioner Garcia dissenting vote. I think the motion passes on that vote. Okay. Again, I think this is something to follow up with staff on, Commissioner Garcia, and address these timely or maybe clerical issues
Right.
that we can hopefully improve on.
Yeah, very well said.
B, consider and take action to approve the final plat of a proposed Woodland Oak subdivision Phase 2B, being 11.92 acres of land out of Reserve Tract, Stewart Place Resort, Section 1 and Reserve, located on the north side of Queen Sago Drive, west of Knotty Pine Lane. Albert.
Oh, is there a question for this?
Garcia?
So I have some comments here, and Commissioner Wolf, you mentioned that it's not my job to review and evaluate these drainage reports. However, that is one of the reasons, because of my job, that I am here, is to bring that added benefit to the Planning and Zoning Commission to bring that extra knowledge and know-how, because I do this on a daily basis. So with that being said, I would like to say on item B, we have, again, another note saying that it must meet the 25-year design but there is no drainage report whatsoever. And in reviewing the plat, and if the engineer of record is on, he can correct me and help in this conversation. This is the Knotty Pine, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Timberlane
It
Drive,
appears-
99 and Benwood
Oh.
Drive.
Okay, so there's no drainage report, correct?
The drainage report was approved 2 years ago. This was done in the old style of how we approve subdivisions, which is you essentially approve the preliminary plats for multiple phases. And then
Yeah.
one phase by one phase, you only get the final plats after the construction is finished. So
So
here,
it was
we're
the
only looking
old-
at the final plats, which we have the Mylars, and we'll
Okay.
record the subdivision as soon as we sign off on it today. This
So
one is
again-
essentially done, the roads are there.
Okay, so again, this is an old design, old drainage ordinance. You're saying that it's gonna be used 25-year. I would like to see that drainage report because there's a detention pond here, says that it's existing. And then there's another sheet that shows it temporary drainage, existing temporary detention pond. And then it shows the phase just completely eliminating the temporary drainage pond and it not being replaced whatsoever. We're just tying in pipe and dumping right into the ditch, which to me, in my expertise and what I do, I don't see any 25-year flood mitigation whatsoever on this area. Now, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, or if the engineer of record is here to explain. That's where I feel I can bring that extra conversation to the table.
The engineering department isn't present here, but like I said, back in 2019, the preliminary plat with the drainage report was approved, so it's already done. So at this point, we're just approving the final plat, which the construction itself has finished, and the engineering department has approved the construction. And 2 years ago, the preliminary plats and the drainage report was approved. So everything is pretty much finished.
And was that approved with a 25-year detention?
Yes, that's what the bullet point says here. And that's what Andy has shown us to write. This project required 25-year storm mitigation. This is on page 2. It's the third bullet points from the top.
And that's where I would like to talk to Andy so we can answer some questions that I have. So that way you all can hear the discussion from engineer to engineer, so you can get the questions answered correctly, because I've got some points to make where I don't see that flood mitigation. I would like to question that a little bit, because it's
My
just
understanding is that's already been approved. So can we make a motion on the subject at hand?
Yeah, I'll make a
Okay, we got a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, please note the vote, Commissioner Garcia, on the negative. A note to staff, let's see if we can have engineering here, future meetings. Anyone from engineering would be great, but especially Andy, please. Let's make that, granted, it might be a vacation, I get that, but, and we generally have had. Thank you all. Item number 3. A request for voluntary annexation of 1.47 acres out of land being the right-of-way of Dilworth Road, commencing at the northwest corner of Block 1 of Emily A. Johnson Subdivision, recorded in Volume 11, page 49. I'm going to go ahead. Is there a presentation by staff or just a public hearing?
There's a presentation by staff.
Okay, please proceed.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Cameron County has requested the voluntary annexation of this subject property or right-of-way to assist a developer who's to meet the annexation requirements for a proposed subdivision along this road. This is a subject property. You can see it's south of Garrett Road on Dilworth Road. It has about 70 feet wide and about 950 feet in length. This is an aerial view of the property. As you can see, this strip of land here is Dilworth Road right away. And whenever you're annexing property, the property has to be adjacent to the city limit boundaries. So this item is related to the next item on the agenda. The developer for the next item is proposing a subdivision in this area. And this property here. And in order for this to comply with the requirement of being adjacent to city limit boundaries, this strip of right-of-way has to be included in the annexation. So that's why Cameron County is assisting with this annexation. This is a street view of the property. You can see it's a rural section road. It's paved 22 feet wide. This is, you're looking at it from the south on Dilworth Road. This is, you're looking at it from Garrett Road. So another view of the property. This item is just a public hearing because typically when we bring annexations, is to mainly to zone the property for when we bring it before P&Z Commission. Since this one is right away, there is no zoning of this right away. So it's, this item is just a public hearing. Staff is recommending approval and recommending that the public hearing be conducted. I'll take any questions on the item.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Joel, does it meet the pavement width for annexation?
It
For
does,
thoroughfare?
for a rural section road is 22 feet wide.
Yes.
Yes.
So the right of way that we're annexing, was that additional right of way that was taken or existing?
It was it's existing right away right now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
This will, yes, this will go at, hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Bettis.
Okay, thank you. This will go in front of the planning and zoning variance. Is that correct?
No, this is not a
P&Z?
variant.
No, well, this will go in front of the board?
Correct. It's coming before the Planning and Zoning Commission today. Correct.
Yes, but will it be going through the P&Z, you said? Or, I'm sorry, I misheard you. Disregard the question.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Noted. Let's go ahead and open the public hearing. And then we can come back to questions to staff. So the public hearing is open. Is there anybody that would like to speak on this item? Is that a no, staff?
No, there's nobody called.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Is there any further questions for staff?
I have one, Commissioner.
Yes, please.
Bar ditches, does it have, is that what it has, your bar ditches? And then do we
Yes,
have
correct.
positive drainage?
Right.
And we have positive drainage?
Yes, the engineer has approved a drainage report for this subdivision. Well, not for this strip, but for, the engineer has recommended approval for this right-of-way annexation.
All right.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Pettis. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Keim. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 4, as Joel noted, this is in relation to 3. Public hearing and take action to consider a request for the voluntary annexation and establish the initial zoning to residential, single-family R1 district for 9.38 acres of land comprised of 2 tracts. Tract 1 being a 7.77 acre of land out of a 3.44 acre of land out of Carl K. Kruger Tract, Pendleton Subdivision, a 1.48 acres of land out of Block 1 Sewer Place Subdivision, Survey 294, a 2.85 acres of land out of Block 1 CD and Sally G. Pendleton Subdivision, and being out of the land of tract and land described in document number 2019-46166, deed recorded of Cameron County, Texas, and Tract 2 being a 1.61 acre of land out of a 1.6 feet canal right-of-way reserved in volume 32, page 7, deed recorded of Cameron County, Texas, being out of the tract of land described in document number 2020-3577, deeds records of Cameron County, Texas, located on the west side of Dilworth Road, south of Garrett Road. Staff?
Chairman, Commissioners, this is a voluntary annexation request. The developers have requested the voluntary annexation of this property. All of it is outside it, but will be adjacent to the current city limits with the inclusion of that strip of right-of-way that we just discussed in the previous agenda item. You can see they're proposing a 2-lot residential subdivision. The developer will be responsible for all the infrastructure improvements for this particular subdivision. This is an aerial view of the property. Subject property is, and of course, the right of way that we discussed before, which is the first item, then previous annexation item was this strip of land here. So that's why that right of way was included so it could meet the annexation requirements of being adjacent to city limit boundaries. The developer has requested that the property be rezoned to residential single family, which is why we brought this item before P just to consider the rezoning of this annexation. As you can see from the map, it is consistent with the surrounding zoning of residential single family. So staff is recommending the approval of the annexation request and the initial zoning to residential single family. We'll take any questions on the item.
Okay, well, one question. So this action is for the annexation and rezoning in one motion.
Right, that's correct.
Okay. Is there any questions for staff?
I had a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Joel or some staff. I just kind of want to understand what the purpose is of this annexation. Is it? I'm not going to speculate, but I'd like to know what the intent or the purpose is.
According to the developer, they wanted to be annexed into the city because they didn't, they didn't want to deal with the county because it takes a lot longer to process subdivisions in the county. So they want to deal with the city, more with the city. Plus, I'm assuming the impact fees are lower in the city as well.
Just for everybody's reference here, we were talking about timelines and everything. The county has the same exact time frame as the city of Harlingen. It's Texas Administrative Code. So same time frame, same laws apply. It seems that we might be expediting, maybe, I don't know. Again, I didn't want to speculate, but that's exactly the reason why I thought was to avoid the county, because there's more comments and etc. that are followed before they approve.
I think we would all agree to have more taxation. You get the tax on that if they are annexed in the city. It's kind of a win-win for us. It's a voluntary annexation.
Yeah, no, I'm not against that. I just wanted to know exactly why, Commissioner Lowry.
No, I think it's, based on, obviously they don't have to tell us why. So it'd be all speculation as far as I'm concerned, but to me, it's a no-brainer. We already took care of the road last time. Sorry, I'm under the weather, so my voice is a little rough.
No, it's okay. But I think it's a prudent question to ask. What is the initial intent? What is the reason? So I'd like to understand fully before I make my decision. I think it's prudent. And then also when we approve this subdivision, let's make sure we have, like Commissioner Consiglio said, a clean path forward.
I think there was a letter in there from the developer that was pretty clear that their intentions were not to go after the city for every single little service that is commonly provided to subdivisions within the city limits. They're not asking for sewer. They're not asking for this or that. So I'm not seeing any red flags. I'll make a motion to.
Hold on, we have a public hearing first, Commissioner Wolf. So let's go ahead and go into public hearing. So I'll open the public hearing at this time.
There were no comments during the public hearing submitted.
Okay. Is the applicant available at all?
No, they're not.
Okay. Hearing no comments or no one signed up, we'll close the public hearing at this time. What is the wish of this commission?
Make a motion to.
Got a motion by Wolf. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
We got a second by Commissioner Garcia. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, item 5, request to amend the City of Harlingen One Vision, One Harlingen Thoroughfare Plan by adding the extension of November Lane east of Cook Lane.
I have a point of information, Chairman.
Please.
This item was not part of our packet. I did not find it, and unless somebody can point me to the document or the sheet number on our PDF.
Item number 5.
Number 5 on mine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on the very bottom of the page, but
No. I see item 5 and I see what he just read, but where's the
Mhm.
backup for any of this?
Oh, misunderstood what you're asking.
Yeah,
okay.
there's no information whatsoever on this packet for any of
Oh,
us to have
gotcha.
any of us to have read.
That's right.
So that's a mistake on our part, probably. There's no item, there's no agenda item in the packet that you guys see?
Not that I saw.
Okay, I guess there'll be more questions on this one. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The proposed amendment.
One moment, Albert. Do you have in your presentation the packet that was supposed to be emailed out, those slides? There you go.
Oh, the slides themselves? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
we're missing this information.
Yeah, this is the information you're missing. That's why if you have questions, I guess I'll have to walk you through it. I guess it's just one we missed as part of the PDF. Do you want to?
Chairman,
I guess we can try to send you an email in the meantime.
Yeah.
Let's have
Chairman,
staff.
instead of-
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh, Chairman, I was just going to say, I mean, I think at this point with, we're all looking at this for the first time. I like to study and prepare a little bit. Obviously, you can see I develop my questions by planning in ahead of time. I'd like to study it a little bit rather than in real time. If I can make a motion to table.
Are we up against any clock that we need to consider?
That'd be a question for Albert.
Not for this one. No, there is no clock. It's reasonable
I'll
to
second.
table.
I'll
Okay.
second the motion and table.
We got a motion by Garcia, second by Lowry. Is there any further discussion on tabling this item?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes unanimously. We'll bring this up the next time. Item 6. Request for specific use permit to allow a portable building greater than 144 square feet in a single-family residential district located at 1701 Dixieland Road, bearing a legal description of Lot 1, Block 1, Alamo School Subdivision. Albert?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The proposed portable building measures 1,440 square feet, and it will be used for classrooms. The building measures 24 feet in width and 60 feet in length, and each of the 2 classrooms will measure 24 feet by 30 feet. The portable building will be located on the north side of the school between the football field and the north parking lot. The SUP request was reviewed by the Building Inspections Department and the Fire Prevention Bureau, and they recommended approval. Staff notified 64 property owners, and we have received 1 letter of opposition to the special use permit request. If we had received 0 letters, we would have approved it administratively. Because of that 1 letter, we had to have this item. Staff recommends approval of the request. I'm here to take any questions. The applicant is not here.
Okay. How long is this SUP for? Is there a time limit on it?
That's a good question.
There is no time limit. If you would like to enforce a time limit, you could have that as part of the condition, whether
Yeah,
1 or 2 years.
So I have a concern right away. Is this going to be one of those temporary portable buildings that turn into a permanent portable building until a bond passes in 6 years and they build a building?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm pro consistency, and we continually will squash any portable building that comes before us that Stripes or anyone else brings up. I get it. The school district is very important and vital to our community, but I also have concern about being consistent in what we do. So if the idea is a portable building that's going to be there for the next 5-6 years, then I've got a real concern with that.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. As an additional condition, you can tack on 1 year limitation on this, or 2 years, or however, whatever number you think is fair.
Well, I have a question, Albert. Did they mention anywhere or clarify Commissioner Lowry's question? I mean, are they calling this permanent or are they calling it temporary? Because
Not in their application, no.
I didn't see it anywhere.
the reason for the special use, to my understanding, is that it exceeds 144 square feet. And
Yes,
to me,
the
that's
reason why you're
permanent.
seeing this before you, if it had not had a complaint, staff
Yeah.
would have approved it administratively. And I guess that's the benefit that somebody did complain, because somebody probably does not want to see it for 5 years or however long. So now that it's before you, you can put a limitation on it.
And regardless of
Mhm.
And regardless of how long it's going to be there, you still have to meet all the structural requirements and hold downs for the foundation to make sure it's not,
Yes.
blown away during a hurricane or floated away, during a flooding event.
Right. Condition number 2 is comply with the requirements administered by
Okay.
planning and development, building inspections, fire departments, fire prevention bureau.
Okay. And also to remain consistent, this is inevitably also going to cause additional or generate additional runoff.
Yes,
drainage
that's
runoff.
correct. Yeah.
And so whoever beats me to the punch on approving this can we add a stipulation on there similar to the Sepulvedas, where we require a 25-year drainage report, and a plan to mitigate the additional runoff that wasn't accounted for the original development. Want to protect our students and HCISD from any additional headaches of flooding and etc.
Could we add a condition? I mean, if we do that, I'm in favor with Commissioner Garcia's 25-year. What he just said. Sorry.
The drainage, additional drainage.
Head's a little foggy right now. I apologize. But,
I guess the idea is that the building permit would be for the portable building. So the building permits would address only drainage for the portable building. So I guess you're asking to go above that to fix the drainage for the whole school.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Just for the portable building then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Just for the additional generated runoff from the portable building, that we mitigate that per the drainage ordinance. So a drainage report and a plan.
Yeah, I think that's part of the building inspections department. They route it out to engineering, but you can also tack it on if you like. That's fine.
Let me ask another question. Sorry, real quick. Let me ask another question. When if we approve this with condition like a 1 year, and then they request another SUP and we don't get someone complain that time, does that mean we don't get to hear it again?
Yes, that's correct. But that would be basically nobody's concerned with that time period. If the surrounding properties, how many letters do we send out? 64 property owners, and it is a public hearing, so it's notified in the newspaper. So if nobody has a concern with the portable building, then maybe that's not what the public has, or maybe that's
we're not allowed to put a condition that it after 1 year needs to be reconsidered.
Oh, is that what Wayne was asking?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yes, you could put that condition. Yeah.
Chairman, I think the last time we did one of these SUPs was for Treasure Hills, and I think it was for either 2 or 3 years that we allowed them to have the portable building there. But that's because we were planning new construction. But you can't make that as part of your stipulation.
Thank you. Thank you.
So in that case, what I'd like to do is I would like to make a motion to
we
approve.
have a public hearing first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and open the public hearing right now. Is there anybody to speak on this item in the public hearing, Albert?
No, there is no one.
Okay, and no one from the school district?
Oh, no, that's Oscar.
I'm gonna throw a little shade and say bothered to show up. Okay. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing at this time. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion with the conditions that Commissioner Garcia mentioned. Can you restate those, please?
Yes, with the stipulation that a drainage report and plan is submitted for approval.
With that and the condition.
25-year, is there a 25-year thing?
Well, yeah, that's the ordinance is a 25-year mitigation. They have to follow that.
And with the condition that it would be brought back to this commission in 1 year for reconsideration. In 1 year. And I think in 1 year there needs to be a plan that says, hey, we're going to build something permanent but not something like this.
Okay. Staff, you have that motion down? Everybody understood that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it based on those.
Okay, we have a motion by Lowry, by Lowry and a second by Lars. Any further comments or discussion?
Discussion.
Garcia, please.
I just want to, maybe I just want to kind of leave it open for the intent that it was meant to be a longer term building. I don't want the city, they're not here, like you said, no one was here, but what if they were meaning for it to be a longer term? Because that happens in school districts.
They would need to come back.
They would just need to come back and we look at it again in a year. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to understand that. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, this is going before the city commission, so when there will be another public hearing and the school district can voice their concerns during the city commission public hearing if they want more time.
That's right. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, opposed, same sign. Okay, hearing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Number 7, request for a special use permit to allow an adult business microblading. That's a makeup tattoo for you gentlemen. In a general retail district located at 1209 West Tyler Avenue, bearing a legal description of West 1/2 of Lot 7, Block 2, LID and LIS subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The proposed microblading studio will be within the existing Mia Steel Salon and Spa, and it will be used for permanent makeup for powder brows. The room that would be used within the business measures about 10 feet in width and 25 feet in length, and it is on the west side of the building. The proposed hours of operation will be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and closed on Saturdays and Sundays. The building inspections, health, fire prevention, and police departments have reviewed the application and recommended approval of the SUP. Staff notified 19 property owners, and we have not received any concerns or objections. Staff recommends approval of the request. I'm here to take any questions, and the applicant is not present.
I have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
So is this specific to microblading only? They could not go and do any other sort of tattooing whatsoever?
Yes, that's correct. The microblading itself, they use tattooing equipment, but this SUP right here is for microblading studio solely. When we sign the ordinance, it would state exactly what this says here. And the ordinance is part of the packet.
So any violation of that, they would lose their...
Right, they would be in violation of this, and we can remove
The second question is on the hours. What is to stop them from seeing a client on a Saturday? If that, client calls up, I can only make it on Saturday. Your hours are stated with you folks is 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. But what if somebody wanted to go in on a Saturday? Are they no longer allowed this? Are they unable to see a client on a Saturday if they want to?
That's correct. They should be unable to see a client on the weekend. At the same time, I think the main business itself is closed on the weekends.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for staff? Again, this is in perpetuity. There's no term or limit to this particular SUP. Again, just from a historical perspective, we have put some, depending on the applicant, the history of the applicant, and what the nature of the business has been. So I'm just going to throw that out there as a FYI. Let's have a public hearing. Let's open that up right now. So we'll open up the public hearing. Albert, is there anybody that'd like to speak on this item?
No, there is no one here. Thank you.
Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion by this commission?
Motion to approve.
A motion by Wolf, second by Lowry. Any further discussion? Hearing none. What is this? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. 8, request for a special use permit to allow an adult business tattoo studio in a general retail district located at 401 South 77 Sunshine Strip, Suite D, bearing a legal description of the east 10 feet of Lot 1 and all of Lots 2 through 6, Block 3.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow a tattoo studio out of an existing barber shop that's located on Tyler and 77 Sunshine Strip. Actually, they're proposing to lease a space inside that barber shop. This is a street view of the subject property. You can see there's a barber studio and they're proposing to lease, as mentioned, like about a 270 square foot space inside the barber studio. The hours of operation will generally be from Tuesday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then on Saturday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Building, fire, health, and police department have reviewed and approved the request. We did notify the property owners within a 2-foot radius. Staff received no objections from the surrounding property owners. Staff has recommended approval subject to the applicant complying with the required parking spaces, maintaining the existing landscaping, obtaining their proper permits, and compliance with the appropriate city departments. I'll take any questions on the item.
Any questions for staff? Okay, hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. Albert, or I'm sorry.
There was no public comment.
No one for public hearing?
Right.
Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. What is the wish of this commission?
Make a motion for 1 year stipulation.
I got a motion by Wolf for approval for 1 year. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pettis. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to make it clear. The only reason I put the 1 year stipulation is because it's next to a bar. I'd like for our police department to be able to weigh in on this if there is any incidents that arise from it. That being said.
I have a question for staff.
Go ahead, please.
Is this going to be like separate? Is there going to be like a separate door entry, or are they going to like walk in, or are they?
It's the same door entry.
Same door entry, and then you go in, and they're going to make partitions, or is it going to be like the same? You're going to be able to cut your hair and get a tattoo at the same time, like what?
Yeah, it's the same. I think they might have a partition on one side of the building, but they have to go to the same door. And they can only operate when the business is open. The other business is open.
The one-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop.
Yeah. I cut my own hair, so.
Sounds like you should be doing the microblading.
Thanks, David, for the comic relief.
All right. We have a motion and a second to. Is there a? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That brings us to number 9, which is Mr. Olivo's report.
Chairman, just a report on some of the items that have been considered before the P&Z Commission. The special use permit for the storage building at Nueces Park Lane, that got approved on final reading by the City Commission. And the rezoning on FM 507, the city initiative rezonings, that got approved by City Commission on final reading. That's all I have to report.
Very good. All right, Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, commissioners, we do not have a meeting. We don't have any agenda items for August 25th as of now. We don't have any public hearings, maybe a subdivision, but it's unlikely. But we do have major amendments proposed for the sign ordinance, and we would like to request a workshop with you, hopefully maybe Tuesday of next week at 5:30 at City Hall. We're asking if it will be okay to have a workshop to present the changes that are proposed to the sign ordinance. Basically, we're removing anything relating to on-premise and off-premise advertising in anticipation of a Supreme Court ruling that will take place, and also some amendments to the downtown district overlay to reduce it to match the downtown improvement district. So before we advertise public hearings for these ordinances, we would like to have a workshop with you next Tuesday to go over the ordinances and make sure you agree with everything.
If we don't have a meeting in 2 weeks, could we not schedule it around that time instead?
We would like to have this workshop as soon as possible because we want to advertise. If you agree with all the changes early next week, then we would like to advertise the public hearings so that the ordinances can go before you for approval on your September 8th meeting.
Okay, well, I think an email communication out to the commission, and people can confirm their attendance and see if their availability is the best action to take on this type of request. And we'll go from there. Please remember to just reply directly to staff and not reply all when staff emails everybody.
Yes.
Okay, so please send that email out probably first thing in the morning so that we can maybe get a consensus pretty early on tomorrow, Mr.
We'll
Swan.
do first thing tomorrow.
Okay. Gentlemen, and
So,
reply yes, sir.
Just one question for Mr. Cervantes. This will be our last Zoom meeting, correct?
No, next week?
No.
No, it will be at City Hall.
No. This meeting is our last, correct?
Our last Zoom meeting.
Okay. If, God forbid, if somebody does get sick, are they still able to attend the meeting via Zoom, or will it only be in attendance only?
Only live.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. May I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. What steps are y'all taking? Are y'all taking any steps as far as entering the room or spraying the room down as far as Lysol? What steps are y'all taking? Temperatures? I'm just curious.
We have social distancing right now, so it's not going to be a packed town hall. We can't require masks right now, and we're not taking temperatures anymore. But we are encouraging people to wear masks. Yeah, if you want to, you don't have to. But we are limiting the attendance to 25 people in the audience. And then the Planning and Zoning Commission will be up on the dais.
I'd like to make a comment real quick. Also, back to Commissioner Wolf's question. I think the Open Meetings Act allows for one or two commissioners to join via Zoom, as long as there is a quorum in person. And I believe City Commission is allowing people to enter via Zoom as well. So I think we might need to look into that, just to, like I wouldn't want to get sick because Commissioner Lowry, brings a little virus to us or anything. And he's forced to, because he's not going to ever miss any meetings. And
don't bring little.
and he's a trooper. He's a trooper, whether he's sick or not. He's going to be there, and I would like to give that opportunity for him to join via Zoom. I think that would be a good thing if we could just look into that.
We can still have Zoom meetings through August. September 1st, we have to go back to live meetings as per the governor's order, but we can still do it in August.
Right. No, but my point is, Joel, is that even with live meetings, I believe that the Open Meetings Act allows for, as long as there is a quorum, live quorum, others can still join via Zoom.
Yeah, that's a legal issue. I'll have to defer to legal on that one.
Yes, I think we should look into that.
Yeah,
I remember reading that.
I'm going to comment on that. JV is correct. The normal operation of the Open Meetings Act, as long as there is a quorum live and in person at a location, then remaining members can appear remotely.
Mr. Rodriguez, any members joining via Zoom, would they be able to vote or just?
Yeah, they can vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
One question for Chairman.
Yes, please.
Yes, I just my question was Tuesday, if that doesn't work for everybody, how are we gonna go about letting everybody know what day? Because I understand that it needs to be done right as soon as possible, but let's say Tuesday doesn't work for, how are we gonna work that out?
I think just through normal communication through staff.
Okay.
You can provide staff a couple of optional dates and times for that.
Yeah, it could be Monday or Tuesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, I just know we got back to school and everything like that, and everybody with kids. So I just throwing that out there.
Right, duly noted. That's a very good point, Commissioner Pettis. Well, we'll just try to coordinate and see if we can get a quorum or majority there. Is this meeting going to be posted, Mr. Cervantes? Okay.
Yeah, so by Friday morning, I would need to know because there's 72-hour minimum
Okay.
posting.
May I ask the time of the whole meeting? What's the time going to be?
5:30.
5:30, and it's going to last for. Do we have a time frame?
I'm thinking 30 minutes to 1 hour.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So what I'll do first thing tomorrow, I'll send you an email and I'll ask Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, and then you can check off which days work for you, and then from there, hopefully we can determine what day is best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chairman.
Business, so I'll make a motion.
Got a motion to adjourn, second by
Second.
Commissioner Bettis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice week.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.